Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of College for YouTube, and I'm here to do two Halloween videos today on this Michael Myers Monday. My first video is my final video for my Versus series that was requested by friend and fellow YouTuber Mark Gilman. This is Sheriff Brackett and Sheriff Brackett. Sheriff Brackett from John Carpenter's Halloween and Sheriff Brackett from Rob Zombie's Halloween. So what are the similarities and what are the differences? Obviously, the name of the town is the same. That's the no-brainer, right? Haddonfield, Illinois. So, what are the differences? I think the biggest difference really is the seriousness of Sheriff Brackett with Rob Zombie's Halloween. Now let me explain what I mean by this. I do feel that Sheriff Lee Brackett in John Carpenter's Halloween did at first believe Dr. Loomis. He wanted to believe him. And here's why I say this. There's a sequence when, we know Loomis delivers that line about, I met him 15 years ago. And Lee Brackett, before he goes out on patrol, says, "Well, I think I should notify the radio stations." And really, what Lee Brackett's wanting to do there is not necessarily cause a panic, but he's wanting to let people know to get behind locked doors. Get behind your doors, lock them, and just keep your eyes open. That way they don't have to worry about someone walking into their home and killing them. And really, he's not wrong. And this is something I'm going to point to when I do my next video with 1978 and 2018. So, Lee Brackett goes out on patrol. He's looking. Now, he doesn't know. I take this as, and I'm going to point this out in my 1978, 2018 video as well. I've always took this as, at some point in time, before they get to the Myers house, Loomis told them about the mechanic's outfit, the coveralls. He told them about the body he found. And I do think that when Dr. Loomis introduces himself to Sheriff Lee Brackett for the first time, I honestly think that Lee Brackett was expecting Loomis. And what I mean by that is, remember, Loomis does call the police before he gets to Haddonfield in John Carpenter's Halloween. That's the one thing you got to keep in mind with that. And that's something I'm going to touch on again. But primarily, this is about Brackett. So I think Brackett was expecting to see Loomis. Because he's real cordial with him. He goes, "I'm Loomis, Dr. Sam Loomis, Lee Brackett." So he's very cordial with him at first. But when he goes out on patrol and he's probably looking for someone in coveralls, but he doesn't see anything. All he sees is people parking, trick-or-treating, getting high. And he might say, that's not cause for concern. No, because it's been the norm forever in Haddonfield. So to him, when he comes back to Loomis and says, "I have a feeling you're way off on this, there's nothing going on," and he says about the trick-or-treating, parking, and getting high, what he's meaning is there's nothing out of the ordinary. There's nothing out of the ordinary other than that body on the outside of town. And really, let's do a hypothesis. Let's say they found that body, because this is going to get into the similarities and differences. Let's say they found that somebody found that body other than Loomis, that the Brackett's men went and saw the body. So what? All that would say is Michael Myers killed a tow truck worker and stole his clothes. That doesn't mean he's coming to Haddonfield. And this is weird because I've never defended Lee Brackett before. So I'm about to defend Lee Brackett really hard on this. I don't think Lee. I've always felt Lee Brackett was wrong for not listening to Loomis, but my mind has been changed. Lee Brackett wasn't wrong. You know, John Carpenter's Halloween is about human error, and everybody commits it, really. Laurie Strode commits it by thinking it's her friends, right? And that's something I'm going to get into with 1978's Halloween. Lee Brackett commits it by not listening to Loomis, yes, but before Lee Brackett commits it, so does Loomis. Loomis, by telling him, tell your men to keep their eyes open, their eyes open and their mouths shut. Their mouths shut and their eyes open. Okay, I get that. And I do think this could fit into 2018's narrative, maybe. And that's something I'm going to get into in the other video, so you'll have to stay tuned. I think once Brackett tells him this, gets told that by Loomis, not to alert the radio station, basically not to tell people, hey, there may be an escape killer at large, please lock your doors. So so Brackett can get that out there. Once that's not there, it has to put doubt in Brackett's mind. Like, well, wait a second. I don't see anything going on. This guy doesn't want me to alert the radio. That doesn't scream that there's a killer on the loose now, does it? And in fact, it screams the exact opposite. You don't want me to alert people so they can lock their door. That, to me, set bells off in Brackett's head. Like, this guy's not for real. That's what he's taught. It's weird. It's like there's a double talk in Loomis at times. So I think with Brackett's not necessarily wrong for not listening to Loomis. I've always felt he was, but now I'm not so convinced. He wasn't necessarily wrong at first. Now he ended up being wrong. But in many ways, it's just as much Loomis's fault as it is his. That's tough to say. So the human error in John Carpenter's Halloween is in effect. It trickles down almost. Loomis, Brackett, Strode, they all make glaring mistakes. And really, Laurie's mistake is the result of there not being an alert of a killer. Laurie's mistake comes because no one in Haddonfield knows. Now the difference between this 1978 Brackett and Rob's is when Rob Zombie Sheriff Brackett interacts with Loomis, you know, there is calling all cars moment. Loomis isn't really trying to keep things from going on, too much. I do feel at times that, because here's the thing. I like the Sheriff Brackett and Rob Zombie's Halloween because he was very direct. He was way more direct than the original Lee Brackett. Like, he wanted Loomis to be straight up with him. Like, don't sugarcoat shit with me. He read the book. The book that Loomis wrote. He goes, I read this book. Monsters sell books. I mean, that's as old as time, and he's right. The most real character in Rob Zombie's Halloween was Sheriff Brackett. Was the remake of Sheriff Brackett. I feel he was the most real character in Rob's both versions. I actually liked that character best. I actually preferred his version of Brackett over the originals. And not that I dislike the original Brackett. I just feel there's so much human error in John Carpenter's Halloween that trickles down. And that's not a bad thing. I just feel there's a sense of realism to the remake version of Sheriff Brackett, if that makes sense. So for me, I'm actually going to give a nod to Rob Zombie's, whatever you want to call it, retelling or whatever, own version of the 78 events, I guess. It doesn't really give the year. So I think everybody just assumed it was 78. So, but it more feels like Ghost. I think it's just 2007, really. So, because there's modern day vehicles. There's not 78 vehicle. There's not a 78 squad car. Now, at least in the the remake. That's not a remake. Now they both have a daughter. They're both friends with Laurie Strode, so that's similar there. So I'm not including Annie and Linda because to me, that's senseless. I think they're just too similar there. There are some differences, obviously, but to me, not enough. Other than Annie lives. Now, come on now. Now, with Sheriff Brackett in the original, he's very carefree. He, I think what sets Lee Brackett, the original Lee Brackett, up for sort of being the cop to point the finger at is when he dismisses the robbery. When he says, someone stole some rope, some Halloween mask, and a couple of knives. And he chalks it up to being kids. In his defense, why shouldn't he rule it as kids? He doesn't know about the escape. It's not been advertised. Again, this is the same thing that I'm going to talk about in John Carpenter and the 2018 version. There is some interesting differences, and again, with how Brackett is basically Brackett is the pawn who takes, I think, more takes the fall for the 78 events. And really, Loomis is a pawn too, because I think what it really shows is, from the standpoint is, luck was on Michael Myers' side. Think about this. Okay, Brackett does not know. In the original, Brackett does not know Myers escaped. He's told by the doctor. They find the body. Okay, yes, Michael Myers killed that person. And maybe Brackett believes that. Let's give Brackett the benefit of doubt. Maybe he believes that. What does that body really tell Brackett? All it tells is that Myers took a new set of clothes. It doesn't say that Myers is coming to Haddonfield. It doesn't. You can say it could, but it really doesn't. I mean, he could have just... He doesn't need the tow truck. You get what I'm saying? He doesn't need to steal the truck. He's got a station wagon. He can hightail it across the border. He can go to Canada or wherever. He doesn't need to steal the truck. So him not stealing the truck is not that big of a deal. He's got a new set of clothes. There's no release of a description. Again, this all trickles down to human error, mistakes, which is fun. With Brackett, with the other Brackett, with Rob Zombie's Brackett, he's very serious. He's very serious about his job. Yeah, he is sort of dismissive with the kid. Like, I won't say dismissive, but he knows Haddonfield is a very laid back town. So, that's similar. But when it comes to the seriousness of the situation, he will listen. And I think, again, I don't feel that's a big difference, because I do feel the original Lee Brackett did listen. I do think he did listen to Loomis. It's just at some point in time, he stopped believing in Loomis. And really, so did the remake Brackett, really, or the remake Brackett, sorry. And it was by Halloween 2 that he stopped listening to Loomis, because Loomis became a scumbag, really. So that I feel was the biggest difference overall. If you guys think I missed something, please let me know. Um, oh, another difference though too is, sorry, I almost did miss this. The remake version of Brackett, obviously, who's played by a different actor, he gives Angel Myers slash to the Strodes. That's how the Strodes get Laurie. He knew the Strodes. That's how that's explained. In the sorry, in the original, when it's found out Laurie Strode is, well, in the second part, when we find out Laurie Strode is Michael Myers' sister, the Strodes just adopt her. I would say from an adoption agency instead of actual the sheriff, and that's where Lee Brackett isn't involved. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I pointed enough out for you. I want to give a huge thank you to a friend of mine, Mark Gilman, for requesting these videos. These have been fun and challenging. So, will I tell you to go watch Rob Zombie's versions? No, I'm not going to tell you, but I'm not going to not tell you either. It was painful enough for me. All right, guys, you have a good one.